Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astrological Intentions. I am your host, Alex Reevy, along with the Eye of Eternity herself, Sandy Reevy.
Hi.
It is episode 153 and June 28th. Let's get right into it. In the transits, we have Sandy's Conflict Day Part 1, Thursday, July 1st, Mars opposed Saturn.
Do I go or do I stay?
Conflict Day Part 2, Saturday, July 3rd, Mars square Uranus.
Keep your bags packed.
And Talisman time, Sandy and I are about to discuss, as well as on the horizon, look out for July astrology forecast, which is available now, and the cheat sheet. July 10th through the 16th, the 7-day intention challenge, as well as our upcoming fall equinox constellation bracelet and workshop. And in our house, Sandy is going to tell all about her Mercury Retrograde eye surgery stories. So stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions. And the search ends here, where the night is totally clear, and your heart is fierce. And so you finally know you control where you go. Hello, Miss Eye of Eternity.
I like that.
You like it?
I could stutter here and it would be all okay. Yeah, I had a new lens put in. We're not saying what came out. We're just saying a new lens. I have a new way, which is really interesting because, you know, when I look at astrology and I look at what symbolically some things mean, and they do, they actually mean something. And, you know, Mercury is the planet of communication, you know, and understanding. And that has just finished. Neptune has just finished crossing my Mercury over the last 3 years. And because Neptune's in Pisces. So it means that, you know, things can get cloudy and confusing. And certainly they have been over the last 3 years. And now that the Neptune is completely, it's been off for a period of time, is the time to get a clear lens.
Right.
So I got that now.
You got
but you have to go
lens.
under the knife. My way was to go under the knife.
So I want to go direct to all of our listeners. Keep these lovable comments coming. I'm reaching some of my ends of my well. So
What?
I need more. You have to send me more. Alex@intentionbeads.com. I have a message from Mia, and this is it's titled to her fairy godmother, Sandy.
Mm-hmm.
She says, "The world is so lucky that you were reborn. Your life of intention has impacted so many souls that you cannot even fathom. As students of yours, we will honor your legacy throughout time. As the queen of abundant waters, you gift eternal and divine love to those who come across your shore. All the love, Mia."
That was so Neptunian as I was just talking about that. That's beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, it's the Pisces. I am a Pisces sun. Yeah.
And it's on.
Thank you. Mia.
It's on this like beautiful cardstock with like gold, intricate dots and beautiful handwriting too.
Thank you. Seriously, I keep those and I appreciate everyone. So she actually sent something. She sent that to the P.O. box number. So
yes.
Very cool.
So let's get into the transits. This week is a short week, but it's impactful. It's conflicting.
It's opposition square. Which way do I go? And this is Mars. Mars is making a very challenging, strong aspect to opposing Saturn. And of course, we know we got that Saturn square Mars. We've got that Saturn square Uranus that's happening all year. And it's just tight again, right? It's the second pass that we just had last week. And so here comes Mars in the position. And, you know, Mars is a malefic. Saturn's a malefic. Uranus is the surprise awakener, surprise, unexpected situations that occur. And these are all in a very challenging, what we would call, you know, like a T square. So it's happening in the world, and we may be anticipating that now. There's a lot of things that are suddenly, we just were reading about the building in North Miami, which is the sudden in the middle of the night disruption of collapse. We're working up toward this first day, and I call it conflict part 1. I've never had a conflict day of the month, part 1 and part 2.
Yes. So
but
interesting.
I do have, and it's all happening within a 2-day span.
So let's discuss.
Yeah.
Thursday, July 1st, Mars opposed Saturn.
So this is at 8:08 a.m. Do I go or do I stay? Mars is the planet of action, and Saturn's opposing the planet of stay, of sturdiness, of stableness. And they're equally strong, even though Saturn isn't in his own sign, but he's retrograde. So he kind of is on break in his own domicile. So he does have reign over it, but he's kind of like in his chambers, not to be disturbed, if you like. And Mars is now coming and trying to get into the door. So it's like Mars is pushing a button, and it seems that Saturn is just kind of stepping to the side in a deflection, not wanting
right.
the
I think if any listeners used to have a sibling that had another room and they were like incessantly knocking on your door until you opened up, that might be that kind of figure of Saturn sitting, kind of like in his own domicile, like ready for whatever he's doing. And then here's like Mars, like knock, 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 knock. Right.
And even if you think of a sibling, I think more of like,
an enemy,
right? Like somebody needs an attack, like there's an attack of some sort. As a
sibling. Yeah.
Right. As a side, can I just talk? One of your friends, when you were young, and the parents took the door off of this girl's bedroom.
I do not recall this.
Because she was in trouble. You would think you get sent to your room when you're in trouble. It's like, hey, cool, I'm going to go in my room, close the door, and have to stay
I got all
here.
My toys and all my things.
I'm going to stay here. Fine, cool. I got to stay here for the weekend. Fine, right? But what the dad would do was take the door off of the hinge, and there would be no privacy as the punishment for doing wrong or bad or,
Whoa.
So anyway, interesting. So
you're going to have to tell me who that is off recording.
But this is express your own manner in your own space alone. So as I add to that, it's because it's this Mars like pounding at the door, and Saturn is not going to open.
So, and that's conflict day part 1. 2 days later is Saturday, July 3rd. This is your conflict day part 2, Mars square Uranus.
Keep your bags packed. A change occurs. The Mars just had to get through, or tried, did he get through? Does Mars decide to go, or does Mars decide to stay? Who reigns here? But 2 days later, it's like whatever that decision is, you're going to change. You may change your mind.
Right.
So it's that, you need to move more swiftly. Combative anger is directed at who are you mad at? Right. It may change. Maybe I'm mad at you and then I'm mad at you, but really what is it? The anger is within. So, what I pictured when I closed my eyes, when I was writing this, I'm like, I'm mad at who should I direct this energy to? And it's like, whoever's in my face is going to get it. So I imagined closing your eyes and like going into a bathtub, or if you have a swimming pool, or go to the lake and get in. And if you ever like just pounded the top of water, like pound, like water where it's splashing, and yet it's not hurting, and actually becomes funny, right? Fun.
Yeah.
Because it's making waves,
playful, right?
But it's not hurtful. So if you feel like you could just fill up your sink and you might be making a mess on your bathroom mirror, so maybe you do it in the kitchen, which is used to water splash. It's like, how can you disrupt a calm flow by, using energy that way. I mean, this is not and this is July 4th weekend. This is like fireworks days.
Right.
Right. So it really is a
firework type of time.
Firework week. I mean, seriously, like I know that I'll be driving. I'm going to go visit my mom, and I'm going to be driving, in between that on date, on Friday, which, the conflict day starts on the Thursday and comes in again on Saturday. So it's really here the whole time. Mm. And Mars doesn't move fast enough. We might notice this like the middle of the week all the way to the beginning of next week. So, what I do have to say is by the time we get to the following week, we at least have kind of a chill. We'll go into a chill space.
Can't wait.
But this week, make sure you do your meditations in the morning. I highly suggest that. Get a direction in the morning so that you have an intention. If you have an intention bracelet or an orbit necklace, use it this first couple days in July. It's a
testing period. I mean, any type of challenge or conflict, this is a really great time to be asking the hard questions and also really be focused in on what is most valuable, and let the other, teeny itty bitty things just fall off to the side. Those are small details, but really go in for the meat and what is most important.
Yeah. And at least that the first one that I just mentioned on the first, that Mars opposed Saturn is, do things alone. You're better off to, separate yourself from teamwork and do things, whether you go into your room and read a book or work on a project.
Ground yourself.
Yeah, because this is all Mars is coming from, fixed fire, and it's opposing the air fire. So this is, or not air fire, fixed air. So this is fixed. Neither one of them want to budge. Mm. So you're best to say, oh, okay, never mind. I'm going to go this way. I'll see you tomorrow. Right? Or I'll see you in a couple days.
Right.
So be careful on the road. Be careful. I take that to my heart, because I'll be driving. Watch anger.
Yes.
Speed it up, anger. Mm-mm.
So let's move into talisman times. We have a very open schedule. You have not finished any talismans. However, there are some tentative ones that you have upcoming.
Yes. Well, I know I have one that's coming up on Tuesday, June 29th, to increase merchant sales and profit. I think I forgot to give that to you at our notes
no
page.
Worries.
And this really, I'm going for the moon energy at the 27th lunar mansion, which is between 4 and 17 degrees of Pisces. And what we have is the midheaven sitting with the moon on this 27th lunar mansion. And it really is about increased sales, trade of some sort, this costs this. If you want this, you give me this amount of money. The moon is next making an aspect to Mercury, which is the ruler of the chart. And Mercury is in Gemini, which is the ruler of the chart. So I receive these revenues and gains by exchanging my merchandise and products. We all benefit by gaining what we each want.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, and a fair trade.
Mm-hmm.
It's whoever's purchasing is finding this to be an item or service of value. And you as the creator or artist, servicer are feeling reciprocated in a fair way. That's great.
Mm-hmm. And one is exciting to receive, and the other one is excited to release.
Mm-hmm.
But they're both gaining something.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I also want to jump in here. Normally we have this time to talk about the orbit of the month. However, we've been throwing around this idea of creating it into the talisman of the month, where we have either an orbit or any one of our products that is up for grabs at a discount. Again, sometimes we have higher quantities, but sometimes we have maybe one. Maybe it's a one-of-a-kind item. So we wanted to start this week or this month off with a Talisman of the month to enjoy all the lovely gifts I own.
And if you're interested in this one, buy it. First thing you hear of this one, this will help you get through that conflict 1, conflict 2, the days that are coming up at the end of the month. And this is to enjoy all the lovely gifts I own. In other words, you already have them, right? Like identify them, right? The affirmation, I am charming. I soothe others on their life's path. I excel at all positions that require teamwork, personal skills, and diplomacy. So sweet. So this has a lot of the sun here. I made this on May 6th. The sun is here in Taurus, so that's very grounded energy. The moon is in Pisces. That's very calming and healing energy. So I really feel like with the moon here and making a sextile to the ruler of the sun, Venus, on the midheaven, really is, we all have to work in teamwork, even though I'm telling you these conflict days here, this 1, 2, and 3 days of July are not teamwork days. This bracelet, this talisman will help you to calm down because you're the soothing spirit. You're the soothing, calming, tranquil. You can go right through this week without this, conflict and struggle. And I have one bracelet. I have one. And it's a large bead. You're going to put a little picture of it somewhere on.
I'll have the link in the description for sure. Mm-hmm.
So this one is we're discounting this one. We have one, and that's just, we have one. So first one in gets the
talisman.
The talisman for a discounted rate. Do we say the rate?
We're still discussing that one. So
well, I know we've made the decision. We won't say it here. But
then remind me the decision.
We're doing this for $211.
Awesome. Cool.
So it's about
$33 off.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's see.
And one of our reasons for doing the talismans, the bracelet talismans, is because we're going to find out soon. We've got the 7-day challenge coming. And if you've been wanting to do a 7-day challenge with us, you need to have a beaded bracelet, the all clay beaded bracelet, the talismans. And this will get you in the next 7-day challenge of what we're about to announce.
Right, which is happening July 10th through the 16th. So let's move into On the Horizon. I first want to mention we have our July astrology forecast. This is what we do on Facebook Live with Sandy and Susan. That is available on our blog as we speak. So check out the link below and you're going to get all the dates for July. Also, we do have our astrology cheat sheet, and this is what Sandy and Susan put together for July's dates. That's available now for download. So click either of those links and you will get some beautiful astrology knowledge. So speaking of the 7-day intention challenge, that is happening July 10th through July 16th. And this is it starts at 10 a.m. Central Time. And it's about 30 to 40 minutes. And this is for talisman owners only. And this is the universals or the personals. And with these meetings that we host, Mom, you will really facilitate like a huge education for everyone more about their talismans, adding to the value. What is it that you do, leading up to a talisman, as well as afterwards, during, and it's just all really brilliant information. And it just shows how much intention goes into every single one of our talismans. If you are hoping to get on that list, make sure to have a talisman. And also, if you are not so sure if you can be on that list, email me, alex@intentionbeads.com. Let's move into August 6th through the 8th. We are going to be driving to Detroit, Michigan for the Barefoot and Free. This is a yoga festival that they have outside. It's on campgrounds. It's like really diving deep into nature. Yes. And It's beautiful people. You get to do supboarding yoga. You get to do different types of yoga, everything from Kundalini to Vinyasa. And there's music and food and vendors and astrology classes.
I'm teaching astrology there.
Hosted by yours truly. So we would love for you to join us. Click that link and grab yourself a ticket. September 7th through October 20th, we are announcing our Fall Equinox Constellation Bracelet and Workshop. This is a beautiful opportunity to really dive deep and have astrology be a part of your daily life. We come together during this month and a half where each person's chart gets really intricately dissected by Sandy, and also you are witness to so many people's transformations. What are they focused on? What is their intention? And you get to be inspired and also inspire others. It's a really beautiful, small, teeny tiny community of 7. And this is, a beautiful, I keep saying beautiful. Do I think everything is beautiful today? I kind of agree. It's a great opportunity is what I'm trying to say.
And we just finished yesterday with a full moon, because we always start on a new moon. We go through whatever solstice or equinox that is occurring in that season. And then we end with a full moon. So we ended just last week, the summer solstice group. So we actually have sold some seats already for the fall. And then we'll have, the winter solstice, but that's so not until,
winter.
We're
not ready for that. And it's almost doesn't seem right to even mention winter during Chicago summers.
Chicago cold, rainy summers.
So let's move. I think that's all for On the Horizon. So let's move into our house. We wanted to talk about, because we've been really leading this up over the last couple of weeks, because we've known about your eye surgery that you were going to have. And also it was kind of you were given a few options to look at. And one of them was during Mercury in retrograde. Right.
So I knew I've had my eye on a new lens for about 1.5 years. And I found a wonderful doctor. I swear, if I can say her name, Dr. Sonia Bombas. Amazing eye doctor here in Chicago. Anyway, I found her. She, yes, we can do this. And her girls gave me a list. She only does surgeries every other Mondays from like 7 a.m. to noon. So I'm like, okay, they started me on what days are available, right? And the first day is the day I chose, which happened to be June 21, which was Mercury still in retrograde. Jupiter just went retrograde the day before. And I'm looking at that going, nope, don't want a Mercury retrograde. Went to the 2 weeks after, and I went all the way into September. And I didn't like the moon position. I didn't like Mars in my first house, with Mars and Leo, and I'm a Leo rising. And it was just like all these no's. And I'm like, well, I'm looking at now late fall, early winter, and I really, really need to get this done earlier. So I went back to the very first day, and it was the 21st. And I thought, okay, this is before Mercury went into retrograde. And I said, well, as long as I can book this and get everything in order, then I feel that, Mercury is far enough away from the sun. It was more than 16 degrees away from the sun. So I thought, coming out of the shadow, coming out from under the beam, certainly not combust, but he's making his, elongation furthest point away from the sun. So this is good. This is good for viewing and seeing and being seen, right? So I thought this was really great. And Jupiter in retrograde, but, still in Pisces, but, So I said yes. But when I called them back after they didn't answer. So I leave a message. Well, I never heard back from them for about 3 or 4 days. And I call and leave another message. Yes, I want that date. Yes, I want that. Don't let it go. There was only one spot left. And they finally call me about a week later and say, yes, we've got, but when they call, I happen to always be during an astrology consult.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't answer. When I call them back, it goes to voicemail. Never once called them in the probably 25 times that
and talked to them live.
I've never talked to them live.
That's definitely Mercury retrograde.
And I'm like, there's 2 people that work in there and all they do is schedule. Is how can they not be present when I've called them 4 times today? And they know that this is a big important. So now I'm like, okay, here's Mercury. Now I'm in Mercury retrograde, period.
Right.
Okay. So I decide on that. We got this, it's scheduled. So now I have to go and do a few things. Like I have to go get a COVID test. Like what? Okay. So I go get the COVID test, but at a certain time so that it can get before, and then I have to go quarantine. Well, it's the one time they give me the time to go get my COVID test. And then I'm supposed to go home and quarantine. That day, when's the last time I have booked out in an afternoon?
Years?
My girlfriend's coming in from Florida and I haven't seen her in over 2 years. We're meeting up with another girlfriend down on Tavern on Rush. We're going out to lunch. So that has been in the books for months. So then I have to swing by my other girlfriend's house who wants to show me something that she wants to have a conversation with. So I'm going to swing by her house. The next day, my girlfriend who just got done with heart surgery is finally coming out of the house and she wants to go to the special restaurant with me on the lake. I'm supposed to be in quarantine. I have been in freaking quarantine for 1.5 years. And now the one day I have to go out, I'm supposed to be in quarantine. So again, there's the Mercury retrograde snafu. I'm hilariously laughing. So I'm now needing to get a doctor's, like my primary doctor's report. It needs to be signed that I'm, healthy enough for going under the knife and under anesthesia. So I make an appointment with my naturopath who's telecom medicine because she's in Cottonwood, Arizona. We get on and I said, I'm here to do a pre-op. She's like, San, I haven't seen you in over 2 years. I'm not putting my license on the line. She's a naturopath. You're gonna have to see somebody near you. I'm like, oh my God, I have to have all this paperwork done in 2 days' time.
Yeah,
because my surgery's in like 4 days.
And we're on what, snafu number 3 at least.
So, snafu subject number 3,
right?
Not incident,
right?
So now I'm like, I call back to the eye doctor, leave messages for them to call me back, discover that I can go to one of the, what we used to call doc in the boxes, one of those emergency centers. That's not the emergency room, right? And there's one right up the street that I just happened to see about a month ago saying, note to self, there's one of these that they just built up the street. Great. Call up there. I'm going to go up there. I've got all the paperwork. I'm about ready to, because it's just a drop in. So I'm about to go and I've decided I'm going to call first. They're like, I'm sorry, ma'am, not unless you're having a heart attack. Well, we do an EKG on you. No, it's like you're walking into an ER. I'm like, I thought you could do physicals up there. She's like, no. I'm like, oh my God, now I'm a day. Now I have no time.
Scary.
So I call somebody like the North Shore University Center, right? I'm just like doctors nearby. I Google. And I get this, I call and I said, I need an appointment tomorrow. Otherwise, I have to cancel my surgery on Monday. She's like, oh, I can't see there. There's no place there. There's no, a day in advance for not anything that's an emergency.
Right.
So she's like, hold on a second. Do you mind if you have to drive a little bit? I'm like, no. So she gets back on. She goes, okay, 2:00 tomorrow afternoon, but you got to drive a little bit. I'm like, I'll take it. Now you have to rearrange my schedule, my consult schedule, because I have to go do. So it was like all this running around.
Yeah.
I get there and she's like, I won't fill out these 9 pages that I'm handing to her. She's like, this is overkill. My dad's word. And I'm like, I don't know. This is what they gave me. She's like, I have 1 page. I'm like, well, let me call them right now. I'm calling them. It goes to voicemail.
Of course.
I say, she won't fill out 9 pages. It's not that she's being mean. It's just like, I don't need to fill out all this information. I'm just going to fill out the 1 page I have.
Right. But clear, like
by the time I get that done, leave, come back home, there's a voicemail from the doctor phone company going, oh yeah, 1 page is fine. Meanwhile, I'm like, oh, please do all 9. Again, another snafu. She goes, I don't know why I sent you the 9-page report. We only need a 1-page report. I'm like,
oh goodness.
Oh my. So now
this is bad.
I know I have to put eye drops, 2 types of eye drops in my eye 2 days before surgery. Like 4 or 5 times a day, each of them.
And I was here I was here at the final snafu of this part of the story.
So I live nearby Walgreens. I've been going to Walgreens for, all my life to get my scripts, which is very few. I call up there. I said, because it's like, if I do this at first thing in the morning, I can nail this before my client work. Call, what time does the pharmacy open? 7 o'clock, ma'am. I'm like, okay, it's like 7:30. I get ready, go up there, and I get to the back where the pharmacy is, and there's like jail, garage door jail. Like, no, you're not coming in here. I'm like, are you in jail or am I in jail? I can't get in. Right. And I'm like, excuse me, sir. They're like, oh no, the store opens at 7. The pharmacy doesn't open till 9.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, well, I can't wait. I will have to come back. And you know me, I'm not an errand runner. I'm not an errand runner. I'm impatient. So I'm like, okay, well, here's another moment of time. I have 15 minutes before I need to be somewhere else. So I'm going to swing by in my car, go to the pharmacy, go all the way in the back. And you're standing on these marks, right? Like 6 feet apart. So I go down this one aisle and I get in line, and there's like 3 people ahead of me. So when I get up past the aisle, I look over to my right. The other line is going way around. I had gotten into the get your COVID test line.
Oh,
I'm
no.
like, oh my. So I have to you got to be kidding me. Get into the pick up your prescription line, because I had gotten this text message saying, hey, your insurance is, we can't fulfill your prescription because your insurance is wrong. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm on Medicare now. And you just don't have my Medicare card and my prescription card, because I get everything free. Prescription card for Medicare, right?
Not everything.
Extra. I get this extra. I pay extra for it, right? Well, because you're new on Medicare, I'm new on Medicare. I don't really know the whole ins and outs of how it works, because I'm acting like I'm just newly 65 and I don't really know how this Medicare card works. But you do, because you see a lot of old people, right?
Right.
So I'm now like 5 people in line when the man in front of me is my neighbor, and he is on his phone, but with his wireless headset, having this very private conversation with his boss, I guess, very loud, and says, you know what, don't tell anybody this next thing. It's just between you and me. And right. I really want this to be confidential. I don't want this to slip out from anybody. And I wanted so bad to tap him on the shoulder, except for the 8 people that are waiting in line here for their prescriptions,
next to you.
And the 5 people that are working here.
Oh, man.
The 6 degrees of separation. Somebody here knows what you're talking about. I look at my clock. I'm like, oh God, I'm late for the next thing. I have to leave the pharmacy. I get to my next thing. That goes well. Now it's like Sunday morning. And I'm like, oh, I forgot to go get my medicine. I was supposed to start my drops yesterday morning. Oh my God, I forgot to do it. So we go up. You go up with me. We go up to Walgreens. I present. Here's this. And she's like, well, your Medicare card and your prescription is with CVS.
Yeah. And I was there for this one.
I was like, CVS? Why would I have done that? She goes, no, it's the contract that the script that you pay $7 a month for, which I don't even use meds. So I was like, okay, I'm a day late starting these drops. If I go over to CVS, which I have to get in my car and go, how do I get the doctor to get the script? She thinks I've already started these. How do I get the script for her to get the script over to CVS? I had him send it to Walgreens. She goes, I'll tell you what, here. here's the number to our pharmacist. And he just said that he would transfer the script if the pharmacist calls the pharmacist here. I'm like, oh, thank you. Because I'm thinking I have to cancel my surgery. We get over there and I'm waiting in the wrong line again. And you see that. You go over and get in the other line.
Right.
And of course your line moves and it's the right one. We get up there and the man's like, well, they never pick up over there and we're going to have to, this will be a couple hours. And I'm like, oh my God, can I just go shopping somewhere in your CVS shop and buy something while you do this? He's like, this is going to take some hours. I'm like, oh my God, I'm way late. So as we're walking out, we turn to leave and the guy goes, Sandra. And I turn and I said, yeah. He goes, I just wanted you to know the cost of this medicine. I'm like, well, yeah, it's free, but I'm on Medicare. Here's my card. You got the card. He's like, no, with Medicare, it's $280. And I look at Alex and I go, and she's like, Mom, if you're thinking about not doing the drops, because I just don't like medicine.
Absolutely not. We are, yes.
You're like, Mom,
your health
don't be ridiculous. Yes, you're buying that. So anyway, we get back home and a couple hours later they call and I didn't want to talk about it while we were doing our last podcast because I hadn't had the surgery yet.
Right.
But no, everything went well. Everything went super easy.
Yeah, you would think with all of this, like these mishaps, that like something would go wrong with that surgery. But really, the surgeon did an excellent job. She's very happy with the results. You had a little bit of discomfort and light sensitivity, but now your new lens is in and kicking.
It's illuminated.
And eternal.
It's illuminated. Anyway, really quick, just sorry about this long story, but it was like the frustration and the delays and the mishaps in the wrong place and the wrong time and the wrong message. And that's how Mercury went retrograde for me. How did it go retrograde for you? And we will share that on our next podcast because, it usually doesn't bother me. I have Mercury, not retrograde, but Mercury in Pisces, and it acts like a Mercury retrograde. Like, yeah, whatever, man, whatever. Delayed, fine, no problem. I'm flexible. I'm a Pisces, Mercury. I can go this way or that way. That's fine. It works better for me if it's delayed anyway. That's half the time but I was on a major benchmark deadline here. Anyway, just funny.
It was, and it turned out beautifully after all. Yeah. So
thanks for listening.
Good ending to a Mercury retrograde story. So thank you everybody for listening in. We love you. We thank you for listening. And of course, send me your feedback, alex@intentionbeads.com, and think about sending some friends or family our podcast. And those 5-star reviews are our favorite. Thank you everybody. And we will see you next week.
Aye, aye, Captain.
And the search ends here.